Okay. Thanks for bringing that stuff out. I was going to go deep.
Thank you everybody for being patient. What we're going to do right now is probably just, I'm going to give a real quick statement, answer a lot of the questions you probably have. I'm going to turn it over to Bruce Peters here, who's the president and CEO of Mercy Hospital. To give a statement, we'll answer some questions.
Batteries on that, yeah. Yes, sir.
Do you need us both mic'd up?
No, I think we're going to stick mic that way.
Okay. Am I standing in the right spot, everybody?
Yep, sir, you're perfect.
Oh, my mic is still on.
All right,
Again, let me go ahead and finish all the statement first. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Peters, and then we'll take questions at the end. I have my tripod just in the middle.
Okay, I got you. I'm going to raise that. Okay. Right now we're just trying to get everyone lined up so that we can get the press conference started, which will be in about 30 seconds. So just stand by.
Everybody good? Yeah. Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Holcombe, H-O-L-C-O-M-B-E, Sergeant, Bakersfield Police Department. So we're all out here. We are very happy to report that this incident involving an active shooter inside the Mercy Southwest here has been unfounded. We want to report that there were no injuries to anyone located inside. There was no evidence of any shots fired of any kind inside the hospital, and everybody has been safely accounted for. Some of the details that happened. So the call came in just before 8 o'clock tonight. Within 3 minutes, the Bakersfield Police Department was on scene and immediately started a search of the hospital. Within minutes of that, over 100 emergency personnel were on scene helping with that effort. Those people comprised of the Bakersfield Fire Department, California Highway Patrol, Kern County Sheriff's Department, Kern County EMS, and Hall's Ambulance. Special thank you to Dignity Health and Mercy Southwest staff and security who provided us immediate info and access to many parts of the hospital to assist us in a quick and systematic search. Without those efforts, it was just critical in the response there. At this point, I can confirm that there were SWAT teams. The bomb squad was called out. It was a full call out, so it was all hands on deck here. I'd like to turn it over to President and CEO of Mercy Southwest here, Bruce Peters, who's going to give a quick statement and we'll answer some questions.
Sorry.
Stand really close, just so we can get the mic.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Let me put this right here in your pocket.
Oh my. That figures.
Gonna have to.
I'm good.
We're good.
I'm getting stuff.
I'm good. You're good? Either way.
Yeah, we got to step out.
I'm rolling still ready. Go ahead.
Okay.
You good. Step out.
Okay, I'm Bruce Peters, president of Mercy Southwest Hospital, and unfortunately I'm being rained on at the moment, but first thing I want to do is I want to thank all the agencies that came out and helped us tonight: BPD, CHP, Hall Ambulance, City Fire, Kern County Sheriff's helicopter was around us as well, and I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but the response was amazing, and as was reported. Everyone is safe. All of our patients are being cared for. Our staff did an amazing job, as they've been trained to do in any kinds of these situations. We do training for this. We do try to prepare for this, although there is never ever a way to prepare for any inevitability. So we are very pleased at how everyone responded. And again, all patients are safe. All patients are well cared for up on our floors, in our ERs, in our NICU, and all other parts of the hospital.
Bruce, do you mind if I ask, what started all of this? What started the code black?
You know, I'm unclear of the exact genesis of all this. I know there were a number of phone calls that were made, and then ultimately we called a code black overhead, and then as trained, our staff then reacted, and we called in all the agencies.
Was this training that was implemented after the Heart Hospital shooting in December?
We have been doing this training for many, many years because of various incidents around the country. We have always been training for more than a decade.
What does that include?
Pardon me?
What does that training include?
There is there's online training, there are classes that we take, there are a lot of employees who are frontline employees actually go to a class where it's called Evade, where they're taught to deal with patients who may be combative or people coming into the hospital that may be combative. But we're trained in all kinds of methods to deal with any of these threats.
At this point, we know no shots. That was unfounded. Was there ever anyone with a gun in the hospital?
Not that I'm aware of.
We know there was a shattered window. We were hearing reports of a shattered window. Do we know more details on that?
Actually, that's news to me. I did not know that.
Okay.
Was this a hoax or a misunderstanding?
I could be any and all of the above. I don't think we really know what the genesis of this whole incident was.
Do you know exactly who called 911?
No, I don't.
Is this one of those situations where even though it ends up not being founded, you're happy that your employees went with safe rather than sorry?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what they're trained to do. I mean, we train. They have to take care of the patients. We have patients who need continuous care, and we don't abandon the patients. But those who can, they shelter them and the patients in place. I know that some patients were taken into safe areas and locked down with the staff as they could, and as much as they could to protect all of the patients and the rest of the staff.
Who called the code black?
Ultimately, our operator makes an overhead call. Our admitting staff were made aware, and they called our PBX to do the code black overhead.
When you say made aware, were they made aware, like patients told them?
They received a call. I don't know who called. Again, it's unclear to us at this point how all these calls transpired.
Please. You have something to add there?
Yeah, so, and I know he's not aware too much of the investigation portion of it, so I wanted to clarify was the initial origin of the call was placed from the hospital, so that investigation and some follow-up is still underway. So there are many details that we still have yet to discover. But at this point, we do know that it was made here, at least to us.
Sergeant Holcombe, do you know about that shattered window?
Yeah, I would clarify about the shattered window. Initially, it came out as a shattered window. On a second assessment of that, it ended up just being a smudge in the window. So there was no shattered window. No evidence at all of shots being fired anywhere in the hospital or outside of the hospital.
And there were absolutely no injuries even as people went into lockdown in panic mode or anything like that?
To my knowledge, no.
No injuries.
Are there repercussions to a code black that turns out to be unfounded when a code black is called and it turns out to be unfounded?
If the investigation that we have concludes and we can find out that the intent behind this was criminal in nature, then absolutely yes.
Sergeant Holcombe, we heard pretty specific information on the scanner. I mean, we were hearing what people thought was the, possible intent of the shooter, a name. I mean, how did all of that come to be?
I'm not sure the origin of how the names came out, but we have cleared anybody mentioned by name on the scanner, on the radio, and it's been checked out. There was no involvement.
And it's unclear if it was a patient who initially reported this or if it was an employee?
At this point, I don't have that information. Oh, I'm sorry, reported it to the BPD?
Yes.
I believe it was an employee that reported it to us.
Well, what time was it? Just so we have to-
It was 7:57 is when we got the call into the Bakersfield Police Department.
And we don't know who reported it to that employee?
That is still under investigation. I don't have the information for that right now.
Do you know how many BPD officers, how many firefighters respond? I know there were a ton out here.
Yeah, I in my estimation, just looking around, we didn't keep track, or at least I haven't seen anybody keeping track, but there was probably well over 100 emergency personnel, which included halls, CHP, the fire personnel. We, of course, you guys saw the helicopters, so we thank the Kern County Sheriff's Department. But yeah, all those agencies responded for the effort. Yeah, I would say at least 100.
It seemed to be a heavier presence than for the Heart Hospital shooting. Were there any details that you guys learned that led to that, I mean, really, really heavy presence?
I'm not sure of the response that we had to the Heart Hospital. I wasn't part of that investigation. However, I know we were able to, at least in this case, I don't know what happened in that case, we were able to populate this visible area for the media. I don't know if that was part of the issue for the last time, but I do know there was a heavy response to both emergencies because they were both taken as serious.
The Heart Hospital shooting was just a few months ago. Like, this is now the second shooting in less than a year at a hospital. I mean, what does the community need to know about our Bakersfield Hospital?
Well, first and foremost, there was no shooting tonight. I want to make sure that's absolutely clear. This is a report that we responded to of an active shooter, the origin of which is still under investigation. As for the shooting at the Heart Hospital, that was resolved within minutes as well. As for the citizens of Bakersfield, you know, as far as you saw the response that you have for any kind of active shooter in both cases was swift, and the investigation was thorough. And today you saw excellent cooperation between not only the emergency personnel that were on scene, but with hospital staff and what they've been trained to do.
Sergeant, at this point you were saying you don't know if it's a hoax, a prank, or a sincere concern. What are your steps to figure out what it was?
Well, at this point, the investigators are going to have to meet together and investigate the origin of the initial call and go backwards from there. It's just going to be a standard investigation as far as all of the techniques that we would have to employ, so we would use them.
Do you know how many rooms were cleared?
I don't have a number of any kind of rooms cleared. It's important to notice too that when an active shooter in a hospital, there was a number of personnel that were secured in place to sustain, you know, the necessary services for the hospital as well.
Do you know how many people were inside?
I don't have a number of people. That probably would be something we'd have to get at a later time.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Okay.
He has been.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Karen, can you team mic him?
Yes.
Now the water.